Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for Past Lives. It's a movie starring people I've never seen in anything else. The white guy looks vaguely familiar, don't know from what. So, as always, I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the furry. To start with the furry, there isn't any. Moving on to the good and the bad. So, this movie essentially starts out following what, they don't actually give the age based on everything else, I'm going to guess 12. But the main female character and one of the main male characters, and they're both in South Korea and growing up, and they like each other, and then her parents decide to immigrate to Canada, so she has to move away with them, and then we mostly start the story about 12 years later when they reconnect over the internet, and things go from there. This movie moves at a very deliberate pace. There's a lot of times where it's just quiet, except for the dialogue. And then there's even times where, like, it's not so much the 1980s thing of, like, the people would be tidy on screen and very far away. It's not quite that level of, like, you can hear them clearly sort of thing. But I think that there is a focus on the setting that they are in. Because, he stayed in South Korea. She moved, from Canada to New York for most of her life and trying to pursue her dreams there. And so much of this and how things are framed and like how big the actors are on the screen versus the surroundings really focuses on, I think, the setting that they are in. I don't know for sure, but it feels like this was filmed both in New York City and in South Korea because it just feels genuine, and also like they probably didn't have a high enough budget to like make it with CGI. But what do I know? Maybe CGI is cheap nowadays, or maybe green screens are really great. But there are other times where it focuses very, very much on the music, and it's there, and there's not much else happening on screen in terms of like activity. But you're just taking in, I don't want to call it landscapes, but like if you remember Lord of the Rings, which hopefully you do, and if you don't, go watch it again. But with Lord of the Rings, how there's these big sweeping shots of just the amazing environment that is Middle-earth / New Zealand. Well, it's not big sweeping helicopter or whatever shots, but like there is an appreciation for the locations that they are in, both in New York City and in South Korea. And I think that that is almost a character in and of itself because of what a big role it plays on their lives. I think the actors are great. I think they do a good job of portraying the conflicting emotions that everybody's feeling. But personally, it kind of felt like this movie could be titled 3,000 Years of Longing, except more like 24 Years of Longing. Because it has that want and that desire, but that like, but we can't, but we can't. And then it doesn't really, in my opinion, give a satisfying ending. It's much like 3,000 Years of Longing, where it's just like, yep, that was a movie, that happened. This also kind of feels like it just sort of ends. Like, I do care about the characters, but I just, not enough to really feel like the things that occurred had a sufficient wrap-up of the story. And call me crazy, but I generally like happier movies, and this movie just throughout was just a very wrenching film of just like what could have been type of feeling, and I just wasn't a fan of that. So if you're looking for a movie to kind of depress you and get you down in the dumps and make you think about your life and all the different ways that it could have gone versus where it is in a not happy way, then check this movie out. If you're looking for a, happier version of that, I don't know, 13 going on 30 maybe? I haven't seen that movie in too long, but I remember it being funny and a fun time, so, consider that. So, yeah, I don't necessarily think this is a bad movie, but it's not a movie for me. So, for me, thumbs down. But in terms of what they were accomplishing, I don't know, because I didn't like the ending, or the general feel of it, or I'm just going to go with the thumbs down. Just thumbs down. It just did not like it. So, too sad, too depressing, and a little bit too deliberately paced. I think that if I wasn't in theaters, I probably would have been on my phone a bit. So yeah, that's all I have for this one. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you at the next one. Bye.